Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. I'm just trying to figure out which sunglasses work best for today, and in doing so I have determined that the first thing that I want to do today after I pick these out is I'm going to be heading over to Walmart to pick up a couple things. So I'll figure this out. Okay, so now that I've gone into Walmart, you probably saw that I picked up some cookies. Now, why did I pick up cookies? Because I am on a mission to determine how I can make the best cookies while traveling. Now, I have been kind of working on it in the air fryer, and I'm going to continue to do that, but one of you guys made a suggestion to me and I thought it was too good to pass up. So today I'm going to be trying out making these little cookies in my RoadPro. Can you bake in a RoadPro? Now, I do know from my previous experience that I can heat things up, I can cook things, and then it does get warm enough to make like cornbread, because I've done that. So I am assuming that this will work. However, I was told all I need to do is get some parchment paper and some cookies that are already pre-made, or I can mix them up myself and then I can throw them in the RoadPro and they will bake. I don't know how long it's going to take. I have no idea, but I thought we would check it out. And I also thought this was a good way for me to figure out how much power it would take for me to have cookies in the RoadPro for myself. Now, this isn't going to make a whole bunch of cookies at a time. It might make maybe 3, possibly 4. It's a very small pan, so we'll find out, but I'm excited because if I can do this while driving down the road by hooking it into the DC port, that would be awesome. But the reason why I want to test it out with a power station today, again, is to find out how much overall power consumption it takes, so I can see if I can also afford to do this at camp. So with that said, we got some work to do, and I think I'm gonna do it right here in the cab of the van today. Okay, so you can see I brought the Jackery up here, and then I have the RoadPro lunchbox. So all I have to do is open it up. I'm gonna pull out my little cooking materials, set them up here, and I'm gonna line this with parchment paper or wax paper. This is gonna be how I get it done. Now, of course, in order to do that, I got out my little handy dandy utensil thing so I can find my scissors because I need to be able to cut this paper. Now, parchment paper or wax paper will work for this according to what I was reading, so we'll see how this turns out. Pull it out, and then I'm gonna cut off a nice piece, just like so. Okay, now I lay this in like this. Okay, that's good. And now I need to plug this in and heat it up before I put the cookies in there. Of course, the cord's on the side with the little door. It has a 12-volt plug, which I can put directly into my DC port here. It is a bit more snug though, so this is a two-hand job. Okay, there it is. And of course the power's on. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the DC. And then I can see that the light lit up, so we are heating up. So I'm gonna close this for about 5 minutes and heat it up. Now, this particular suggestion came from a couple of you. I had somebody a few months back who mentioned this, and then I just recently had another person, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna try it. We are gonna try it because I have really been enjoying having the ability to not only cook while I drive by plugging it into my van with the RoadPro, but also have this in the back for other things. And I'll continue to show things that I can make in the RoadPro here on the channel because I think that it's a really valuable piece of equipment, and it was only like $35 at a truck stop. I picked this thing up several years ago now. I've been rocking with this thing for a bit, and it's great. I really do love it. Even on days whenever I'm having a weird hair day, the RoadPro doesn't judge me. It just makes my food and is happy. I don't have to go inside and see people when I look like this, and that makes my life a lot better. But with that said, the RoadPro is something that I was really interested in a long time ago, and I saw it at a truck stop. I looked up some videos and I found out that it can do a lot of stuff, and I was like, hey, that's much more convenient on a day whenever I'm having to drive a long distance. So on days whenever I'm having super long driving days, I can just throw something in here. It heats it right on up. But not only is it good for me to just put some stuff in there and heat it up, I can also cook things. So I have done all sorts of dishes in this thing, some of which I've shared here on the channel, some of which I have not. And in doing so, it has allowed me to have long driving days that didn't feel so bad at the end of the day. And what I mean by that is whenever you pull up to camp, sure, you can pop out a full camp setup and you can create your own meal. But if you've driven 8 hours in a day, sometimes that can be a little hard. And so by doing this, instead, what I can do is based on what I put in it, I can kind of time it accordingly. Now, if I have like a frozen burrito, it takes about 20 minutes. If I have something that I want to like really get melty and delicious, maybe an hour, maybe. If I want to cook something from raw, depending on what that item is, anywhere between 2 and 4 hours of driving, and I have something delicious. So it's definitely well worth it. And again, would I pop this out at my campsite and use it if I was at a campsite and had to use my batteries? Yes, I would, and this is why. You see that right there? It's only pulling about 100 watts. So if I was using this, I could use this for a considerable amount of time before it starts really dipping this number down. And that's another reason why I wanted to kind of highlight this today the way that I am, is because I want you guys to see that once it heats up, it starts to pull down just a little bit. It doesn't have to necessarily continuously pull on the battery. So even though I primarily like to use my RoadPro when driving, yes, I can also use it while just at camp. Now it's time for the fun stuff though. It's time for me to put in the cookies, and I am so excited. I just picked up some regular Pillsbury cookies. These are just chocolate chip cookie dough. If you are purchasing anything from Pillsbury, just FYI, they're on box tops for education, and I always like to find double uses for things. Not to mention, I really prefer these cookies over like the Walmart generic brand. They're just a lot better. Overall flavor, I don't know what's different. The sweetener tastes a little bit different in them. I don't know. They're just a bit better. And the consistency of them when I've used them in the air fryer is also better with the Pillsbury than the generic Walmart. So I thought I'd give it a good college try with the better quality cookie. But then also, I'm contributing to my local box tops program for my mom's school. So if you are interested in helping out schools, you can look on Box Tops for Education, and you can find things like these and other brands that already are supporting local schools. And for each box top, you get 10 cents donated to the school, which doesn't sound like much. But if you get up to 4 different products that are on their little list during a single shopping, sometimes they'll contribute like an extra $2 to $4. And that adds up a lot quicker. So with that said, I'm gonna pull out just a few of these and we're gonna put them inside the RoadPro. Okay, opening this up, and I can feel the warmth already coming from it, so that's good. Now it's time for the cookies. Okay, I'm just going to kind of put them in. I think I'm just going to do 3 in here because I think 4 would be overcrowded. We'll see though, we'll see what happens. And I did want to go ahead and make sure I kind of have an edge on the sides in case they spread out. So this should go well. And in all reality, 3 cookies is actually a serving. So here we go. 1 serving of cookies in the RoadPro. And I'm going to set a clock for about 10 minutes and then we'll open it up and see. And I know you're saying, but Bunny, that's going to make it take longer. And that's okay, because with the RoadPro, we do not have an exterior thermometer to tell us how warm it is inside. So there's no way to tell what the temperature is on the ideal cook when it comes to how warm it is at any given time. So heating it up for 5 minutes, I'm not sure if it made it to the full capacity of the hottest that it can get, or if it's just almost there. So I do have to check the food with the RoadPro, and that's okay. So what I like to do usually is if something is frozen, rock hard, solid, I check it at 20 minutes just to kind of see where it is, to see if I need to flip it, all of those things. Things like cookies though, because they're sticky and tacky to the touch, I don't think that they're gonna need a full 20 minutes just right off without me looking at them. So I'm gonna look at them at 10, we'll see what happens, and in the meantime, ooh, it's gonna start smelling like cookies in my van, and I'm so excited. Oh, I tried to pop it in the back and put some water on this and like lay it down, and there's just no point. It is so windy right now. It is like ridiculously windy. And so as soon as I got back out, it was like whoosh. But with that said, we have about 35 seconds and we get to check out these cookies to see what's happening inside. Now, are they going to be finished? Probably not, but am I going to get a good look at them so I can see about how much I need to adjust my timeline? Yes, and that is what we were looking forward to. So can we make cookies in a RoadPro is the question of today's video. And I'm hoping that the answer is yes, yes, and yes. Okay, a little pop here, a little tilt here. Ooh, they're spreading out nicely. I probably could have moved those corner ones over just a little bit. We may have run on cookies, but so far they are doing well. Okay, I'm going to close this up because there's still quite a bit needing to be done. So I'm going to give it another like 5 minutes and then I'll check it. Now, I will say this, my one fear of this is that because they are on the bottom, that the bottom is going to get too done and then the top is not going to be done enough. That's my fear. At the same time, that might be an unfounded fear. So anytime I make a new thing, I always have this moment of, oh, is this right? Is this wrong? Because I'm trying out something new. But I share it with you guys so you can see the process of, does it work? Does it not work? Is it good? Is it not good? Should I have done something different? What did I learn from this and how do I modify? And so because you guys said it was just parchment paper or wax paper and then cookies, that's all I did. So now I just have to trust the process. Okay, they've been in for 10 minutes. I've dropped 3% and now we've dropped down to 76 watts, which means that it is maintaining the heat at a lesser amount of power pool. So this is what I kind of expected. Okay, alarm went off and now it is time. Oh, these look so good. And I think that they are getting pretty done. Okay, this is the hard part doing this in the van. I have to make room, but I got it on here. Would the smart thing have been to do this in the back? Yes. Did I want to do it in the back? No, I wanted to do it in the front because I was trying to make the most of my space. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I'm going to let these cool now for a minute. Oh, look at those. Look at those. This is going to be perfect. They got nice and brown. And now they just need to cool off so they can set up the rest of the way. Okay, this one has cooled off enough where I should be able to pull it off of the paper. The bottom is a little bit more done. So maybe I double up on the parchment next time. Or I could put these in one of my little aluminum pans maybe. Now, I know a lot of people do not like the use of aluminum pans. However, RoadPro does recommend them, and the RoadPro itself does not get to a temperature hot enough to make aluminum toxic. Now, I know a lot of people have had a lot of problems with aluminum, and they've listed off 1,000,005 things that aluminum can cause. However, if you really go into learning a little bit more about the process of aluminum, typically, whenever you're using these kind of pans, these are rated for safe for cooking, and unless you are using the broil feature on your oven using these, you are fine, because that is the temperature in excess of what can be damaging. However, I think that a little separation of the actual plate itself, either with another row of the paper or with something like this, could help this out. So I'm going to continue trying this, but today just learning that I could do this. These are delightful. I think that if you're cooking in the middle section, that's the warmest section, because the others are not quite as done. So if you're in the RoadPro and the hottest point is right there in the middle, that's good to know, because again, these other ones are just fine. So I think that if I were to add that little extra barrier in the middle, I would be good to go, because the others are perfect. They are absolutely perfect. So, food for thought. So that gets my gears to turning that I could either offset the cookies a little bit more from the center, which could get the perfect optimum backing to them, or I could take something and put them into the middle to kind of elevate it off of that direct heat a little bit more. Either way, can you make RoadPro cookies? Absolutely. Now I'm going to perfect this a little bit, try out some other kinds. And have the best snack ever. Remember, guys, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time, having things that you might not have thought that you could have on the road. That makes the times even better. Till next time. Bye.